friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Real Talks with me, Kani Karthick, and today's episode is going to be about a documentary that is aired on Netflix. So this documentary is called Bad Boy Billionaires, and this is India version or India edition. So the documentary itself is of 3 parts or 3 episodes, and each episode chronicles the rise and fall of a billionaire, and each episode is dedicated to one such person. I hear rumors that there are supposed to be 4 episodes, but then one of the episodes was not aired, was like withheld because of some controversies and some cases that have been filed against the episode itself. So I don't know what that episode is about. I did not kind of do my research or anything of that sort. So this video is basically about the 3 episodes that are currently available on Netflix. So first and foremost, the documentary itself is amazingly made. It's very well made, and the sequence of events are put together in a very nice way. The information collected is like in abundance. There's like a lot of information available, and it will give you a very clear picture of where it started and how it proceeded, and where things started going downhill, and how fast everything started crumbling, and where finally how the billionaires found themselves in deep trouble. So every episode starts from the very beginning, or the history of that person, and where they come from, and their family and everything, and what drove them, what were their inspirations and aspirations, and what were the goals, and what was their driving factor, which kind of led them to this scandalous end of their career and their name and fame and everything. So it is very interesting, and there are a lot of takeaways from the documentary. So these billionaires wanted to do something so huge and so grand that they will be remembered for the rest of their life, and even after they are long gone, they will be remembered by each and every person. So it is a worthy documentary, and it's very nail biting and very interesting. I couldn't put my phone down. I watched all the 3 episodes straight. So that is how interesting it is. Each one of this billionaire had achieved something really great, something that nobody else in their league could do or could achieve, and they were kind of going in a very right path. They could have very well been a huge success and a huge inspiration for a lot of us, but circumstances and time and destiny, fate, whatever people want to call it, it can be given a lot of names, and their own bad judgments and decisions put together, they kind of slipped away from that path, and they started digging their own grave, and it may very well be without their own attention. First episode is about Mr. Vijay Mallya. Obviously we all know about him, even children know about him. Out of the 3 billionaires that have been documented in this documentary, I think Mr. Vijay Mallya is the most famous one, because he liked the limelight, and he liked to make that name for himself. He liked to be in the front of everything, all the newspapers and media and everything. So that was the main reason when things started going bad for him, that hit the media as well in a huge way. So he was called as the Prince of India, the Maharaja, richest man in India. He was called the King of Good Times, and finally he's right now he's being known as the man who cheated banks out of $90 billion, and he got away with it. He was born with a silver spoon, considering that his father had already established himself in the alcohol business in India. So he was already kind of privileged, and he had everything, anything and everything that he ever wanted. But then he wanted to make a name for himself, and he wanted to turn the name Kingfisher, the brand name, into a lifestyle that everybody in the world would want to be a part of. Like everybody would want to just experience a little piece of that lifestyle. So when he started concentrating more on his luxury and his name and his fame, and all that money and expenditure started going out of his hands, and he was like taking in a lot of loan, but the business was not bringing in that much money. So soon enough he found himself in a situation where he couldn't even pay his employees of Kingfisher Airlines, and that became ugly very soon. This issue becomes so huge that one of the employees' wife commits suicide and takes away her own life. And in the suicide note she also mentions that she's taking her own life because Kingfisher is not paying her husband the salary that he should be paid. Literally the whole brand name was like up in flames, but this man decided that that was not important enough for him to address, and instead he put that money into celebrating his 60th birthday. That is like the final straw, I think, for the people of India, and especially his own employees. And one of his employee mentions in the documentary, around the same time what we learned was that all the employees of all other countries were paid. Only employees of India weren't paid, which made you realize that it wasn't lack of funds, it was lack of repercussions. We saw that he is actually enjoying our misery. He was glorifying our misery by showing us the disparity between himself and us. So at the end of the documentary, it is mentioned that Mr. Mallya is right now in London and the case is still running. Which takes us to the second episode, which is all about Mr. Nirav Modi and his diamond business. So diamond is every girl's best friend, and it's very intriguing to watch this episode, especially to see all of his amazing work and the jewelry pieces that he had created, like he has been associated with. Obviously there are jewelry designers working for him, but then his aspirations and his dreams were the ones that made it possible for these amazing exquisite jewelry pieces to be to be a part of the fashion world. Nirav Modi had really high goals, and he wanted that the jewelry, like under his name, these diamond jewelry should be known around the world. All over the world, women are into jewelry and women are into diamonds. So based on that fact, Nirav Modi wanted to build an empire that is like expanded worldwide, and everybody would know him, his name, and would be wanted to be associated with him and his work. He was also a very silent, camera shy and kind person, according to his own factory employees. They say that Nirav Modi did a lot for the poor. He talked to everybody and he had no arrogance of being the owner. He is like God for us. He is the diamond king. But as one of the people in the documentary put it very aptly and very rightly, Nirav Modi's business was diamonds. Diamonds are a strange type of consumer item because what they are worth is often quite hard to work out. He was ready to spend millions and millions on advertisements and champagne parties and cocktail parties and all these elegant dinners and get-togethers just to promote all of his jewelry. But at the end of the day, the business was not running as well as he was putting money into opening up stores and advertising about the brand and everything. Mr. Nirav Modi owes Indian government about $1.8 billion, and he got away with it right before people started to realize that there were some discrepancies in his accounts in that particular bank, when he was where he was getting his loans from. By the time they realized that the problems and issues in the papers, Mr. Nirav Modi has skipped the country. He has fled the country with his entire family, and he was found after almost an year in London, and now he's like he has been detained and he's kept under custody, according to the documentary. That is, he's being kept under custody, but he is denying any wrongdoing. So I don't know how that works out. So the case is still running. Moving on to the third episode, which is all about Mr. Subrata Roy, who is the CEO of Sahara India, and he is very lovingly being called as Sahara Shri Mr. Subrata Roy, and by his employees, who are over 1 million. That is what the documentary says. So all over India, he has over 1.1 million employees working for him and his group of industries. Even as I started watching the episode, I had this sense of panic, because this person, he started off with schemes that were involving people from the most downtrodden and the most poor section or sector of India, and that is how he built his entire business. And when I got to know that this whole episode is about this person, because I have never heard about this person, I have heard about Mr. Nirav Modi, I have heard about Mr. Malia, but I've never heard about Mr. Subrata Roy, like, or his company Sahara. So when I started watching the episode, it was really very panicking for me, because I also come from a village where most of the people here are, like, below poverty line, and they work for minimum wages, and when they trust somebody with their money, with their hard-earned money, and I can never even imagine that they have this chance that they could get cheated out of that money. Basically, that is what the whole episode is about. So it is like, I'm giving away the entire story in that one particular line itself. So Mr. Subrata Roy started his company by starting up these schemes called chit funds. And he was targeting the people he targeted were all very poor and very not uneducated, and they come from very low places in India, remote places in India. So what he would tell them is that they can pay like 5 rupees or 10 rupees or 15 rupees per day, and in 3 years they will get the double the sum of that amount that they have been putting into the scheme for the 3 years. So if I have put in like 500 rupees, at the end of 3 years I will get 1000 rupees back. Obviously for poor people it was like a ray of hope, and they all started clinging on to that ray, and more people started to join the scheme over the years, and soon enough he became a billionaire just by collecting money from the poorest of poor people in India. It was okay that they trusted you and they have handed over their money to you, but what you do with that money is what matters. So Mr. Subrata Roy had this dream of becoming the biggest industrialist, the biggest businessman, or the #1 man in all of India. So he started investing this money that he got from the poor people. He started investing this money into other businesses and buying other assets like airlines business, into properties, and building like townships. And at one point he built an entire city and named it the Sahara City, just as a tribute to himself. At a point there were also rumors that he was using this chit fund business and his schemes as a mask or as a front for other businesses, like money laundering and stuff like that. So when all of these allegations started coming to light about him, and he was asked about it, so Mr. Subrata Roy says that if they can find out one thing, that in last 32 years Sahara has done anything against the law or the spirit of law, they can hang me. And he was finally thrown into the hard jail. But even then Mr. Subrata Roy kind of hangs on to this statement that he has done nothing wrong, or Sahara has done nothing wrong. So this man is either very honest and he's he's as good as he portrays himself, or he's very callous and he knows that Indian government does not have the means or the efficiency to catch him in the act or to actually punish him in a huge way. So he knows that Indian government has got all of these holes and in their law, that he can actually escape from whatever wrong he has done. As of now, he owes 24,000 crores to the people of India, to all the poor people of India who had trusted him with their meager earnings, with their daily wages for over many years. If you like this video, please do give it a huge thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Hit on that notification bell icon so that you will be notified every time I put up a video. Until the next time, I get back to you guys with another amazing video. Bye bye and take care.